Alright, so we're back with yet another deck profile for Dragon Ball Super Card Game video, and yes, this one is for Demigra. It's been a deck that I've been playing for a good amount of time. It's just weird, this weird aggro mid-range type thing, or maybe aggro control, maybe just aggro something, I don't know. The whole thing was just to make sure you swing a lot with a lot of black cards. But if you have been playing Demigra or have been experimenting with him with or without these $111 time regulators, or at least a playset for them, please let me know in the comments below. Post your deck lists, let us all see, and I'll definitely comment and help you out if needed. And of course, subscribe if you're new. Like, dislike, all that other stuff. Let's take a look at what this is, because if you didn't know, Demigra is probably one of the, I would say, the less likely to be made leaders. I would say as far as the black leaders. Like Kid Goku is obviously better as far as advantage and as well as versatility. Toa has just a strong engine and a really good backside. Or at least decent backside, and then there's Demigra where I mean, you have to swing to a leader, so any leader that requires that is already kind of booty. And then we have the backside that has a built-in wormhole, which I think if Demigra becomes or is the only one with a wormhole outside of the anniversary box Demigra, then he's going to be pretty decent. Like I would say he's always going to be a pick that you're gonna have as an alternative, right? So what this deck wants to do is bring out as many people as you can on the board, take advantage of this new ISR, which is probably another reason why I wanted to build the deck and wanted to kind of revolve around it. That, and as well as Toki, which both of them I want to say work together pretty well, but overall, because of the variants of Demigra, it can go either way. I think so far it has been pretty good. And for other Demigra profiles and different variants for this, there are a good amount of them where, you know, you want to use Toki as like a toolbox, and then use all of these other cards in order to swing or remove or whatever it may be, right? And what this deck wants to do is keep a relatively low curve into turn 3 and 4, in which your turn 1 to 3 is basically putting bodies on the board, and as well as drawing as much as you can, and then turn 4 is having this man on board or having this man on board with this man right after it, because you can only use it with 4 or more energy, and then flip over, use Toki's ability, and then use the Demigra ability, and then use this ability to put even more into the from the warp into the drop, and then put a Dark Banisher out for your turn and theirs, and go for game. The gameplay that you're going to see doesn't necessarily have that, but it does have it has stuff. You'll see, and I'll go over that in a little bit. So of course, breaking it down from left to right, the leader ability is you swing, you put 3 cards to the drop from your deck, and you draw 1 if they're all black. You untap 2 when you flip over, and this guy has a wormhole, where either you can do a total of 2 Overrealms, 2 Dark Overrealms, or 1 of each, basically, which you don't play any Dark Overrealm in this. You do play in the side. I mean, this is, again, another muck side. But I don't think any of the Dark Overrealm cards are really worth playing in this. You know, there's the 4-drop Demigra, there's the Toas, there's a few others, but really it's not really worth it. That's just my opinion. And of course, his ability is that you choose up to 3 black cards from your warp and then place it in your drop area. It just helps with the additional Overrealm or Dark Overrealm. So we play 4 of the Dark Power Black Messian. Weirdly enough, we're going into a slight control meta that plays out stuff for free, whether it's the Universe 7 or Universe 6 veggies, or the control aspects of different decks, etc. And really, you want to awaken on time and on par with this man, and as well as this man. And it's really useful when you do awaken on time, because then you can play out everything that you need to play out. So he's pretty good. Of course, this is the new Son Goku, or the Xeno Son Goku, which is just a simple counter attack. So you play it out for 1, pay 1, and now he's an evolved target for the Transcendent Saiyan over here, the ISR, which you literally just pay 1, and now you have a double striker for 25,000. And if you play multiples previous turn, like you negate 2 attacks, and then you play 2 of these guys, that's even better. So that way you don't have to play him. It's really preferences. It's all situational, honestly. And then we play 3 of the new skillless Black Trunks, because we play 3 of the dimension support trunks. And yes, we do play the time regulator. A cool, interesting interaction for this is that, if I'm sure other people have used this, is that when you do overwhelm for this man, and you know all 3 of these are in your drop or your warp, you can pick 2 of them or 1 of them in a super combo or whatever it may be, place in the bottom of the deck, draw 1 card, and then resolve him right after, because his overwhelm is first, and then you pick the turn player auto, which this auto will go first because you're saying, hey, I'm overwhelming, and then as you're overwhelming, this triggers, and then you get to place those and then use this auto effect right after. Done it a few times. It's pretty cool. That's why 3 is really not that big of an issue. But 4 is so weird because I never get to see him sometimes, even if I hard mulligan for him. I don't know why Vegeta hates me in this deck, but it does. And we do play 2 of the time dimension leaper Toas. It's not searchable, which is a bummer. I would play 1 more on the side if you're playing 2 in the main, but it is a revenge blocker in which you counterplay. You choose 2 cards from the drop area to your warp. What's cool about her is that if you just, and if you're chilling on 4 energy, you can always just play 2 of them for free in case they remove 1, or for free for 2 in case they remove 1 and you just play another one. So I would say you can only have 1 during that timing, so they have to play something else, but neither here nor there. I would say this is good in the main, simply because just black cards have a lot of utility, and this is one of the best answers for Kaioken Goku, and a lot of other targets like Hero Revived and any other boss monster that we're facing right now, except for Hidden Mastery, because as soon as you do play this out, it's just gonna get tapped down. So yeah, don't do that. Of course, we play the time regulators. I don't know what to tell you about those. They're just expensive. I mean, compared to other card games, I get it. Then the Son Goku Dimension Defender. So you pay 1 overwhelm 3, and then when you swing, you take 1 life. You can take a life, and if you do so, you place 2 battle cards, black battle cards from your warp to your drop. So that helps for the eventual turns or later into the game where you can wormhole and then build out your drop, so that way you can play some more stuff. I play 3 of the Time Patrol Trunks over the Kai, simply because the Kai searches for battle cards, especially or specifically, which if you're hurting for a Toki turn 1, or second turn, whenever your turn is, and you get to play this, you get to search it. And the same thing for Power Burst, which you have multiple targets for that, not only here but also in the side. And also, when you do resolve the Time Patrol Trunks, you get to decide if you want to play it on top, or the top 2 cards, and you play 1 on the top or the bottom, and you put 1 on the top and you want to draw it, you can just go ahead and resolve the time regulator after that. That interaction is a lot better, and I definitely want to use that more often than anything else. So there you go. And then we play the Bardock Awakening Instincts. I like the new 3-drop Trunks, the overrun one that draws 2 into warp. It's not that big of a deal to warp. A lot of people didn't like that. I've been liking this because it's a 20k body and it's just overall better. Plus, if you have multi Toki Tokis in your hand for some reason, you already played 1 out, then you can just drop that into your drop, and it's not that big of a deal as well. Plus, you can always drop 1 of your 1 cost over here, Power Burst the next turn, and get it back. And then with the Dimension Banisher Foos for removal, just easy removal, and as well as 2 other Mass Saiyan. Both are pretty prominent right now. I would say is just for utility, maybe 1 more of each in the side, it wouldn't hurt. And of course the Saiyan Transcendent. Yeah, I'm gonna say that right one day, who knows. This is a double striker 25,000. His permanent says, let's get this one right. If it says if you have any non-black cards in any area, basically the new errata says you can't play this in any open area with anything that's not a black leader or card in the open areas. And then you Xeno Evolve, which means you take either the 3-drop or the 1-drop counter. set it to warp, and then you evolve on onto the field basically with anything 3 or less, which Crisis Crusher is another target for that, which is nutty. I just love it. Plus this, it says it doesn't say that you can't have more than one on the field, which this card won me the game in the gameplay. So there you go. It's just nutty. It's just like this is a good card. I don't understand. People play this card. Like just do it, okay? If you have 3 or less energy, that's the only caveat. That's kind of stupid, but also understandable. I wish it had 2 or less energy, so that way you can play it turn 3. But it's a turn 4 format, now and forever probably. So you can't play this from any area, so that's kind of a bummer. But the 4 battle cards to warp and place them in the drop area is pretty good. And then we have the Dark Banisher. You've seen this combo before, I'm sure, because you're playing Toki Toki. You pay for 8 warp, and then you Toki Toki. You remove the 3 from the underneath the card. Wow, what am I doing? 3 underneath the Toki Toki City. Send it to warp, and then you play the Dark Banisher right after that, and it stays on the field because any overwhelm cards will stay on the field. Still susceptible to Mafuba, still susceptible to the Trickster, Mutaito, etc., but it is still pretty cool that it does stay in this permanent stays in which they have to warp 1 to activate any skills. And then we have, it's just a bummer that this card, and as well as the Beyond Darkness, cannot be put back into the deck by Time Regulator because it is 7 or less, so that's stupid. But we do have for the Warp Super Combo and for the Power Burst for the things, the aforementioned things that I said before. So overall, you kind of get the idea of the deck if you understand the curve, which is pretty easy, honestly. Like you play out the Dark Banner or Dark Power Black Massane, you hold the negates, you play out the Dimension Support, depending on what kind of deck you're playing against. Like any control deck, like I said, you have the aggro options of this guy, this guy, this guy, this guys, these guys, and then of course this guy turn 4. Then you're just really building up for the Toki Toki City, which you want to go ahead and hard mulligan for. I almost want to play this for 4, but I had to make room for the secret, which has really won me games, if not made them a lot better. So there you go. And of course the mock/fake side with no escape should be in everybody's sideboard, honestly. Do not underestimate UI Goku, and as well as Anniversary Box Bad Boy. Time Regulator, or Time Disruptor, sorry. This is pretty good in this because honestly, outside of these guys, which you can probably side out like this and as well as this, depending on the matchup, it's really not that big of a deal. Like it's really cool, I would say. And then like you would side in with Crisis Crusher, Toki Toki, and then this chick, or maybe not that, Crisis Crusher, Vegeta making an entrance, and then these guys, basically these guys over here, so that way you're not affected by the Time Disruptor. So if you want to go ahead and control a little bit and then swing with your bigger boys over here, 3 or more, you're more than free to do that. And then Toki Toki for no escape, and anything else that you want to do, honestly, that's really the only thing here. And then we have Vegeta making an entrance over really anything else, because this puts back 35k or less, and then 3 costs or more, which does is for this guy over here, which is going to be really helpful against Janemba or any other matchup like that. Crisis Crusher, another target for him, and controls the board just a little bit more. You just can't use your Dark Power. TN for Janemba / Red Blue leaders, and then Umbral for 3 costs or less take control. Again, mock sideboard, not for real, but I would like to hear your ideas on it. Let's get to the gameplay. Alright, this one might go a little bit fast, but you can still see the mulligan and etc. I opened 3 of the Awakened Instincts Bardock, so that's great. I'm probably going to charge 1, which I did. This guy, I will let you know, kind of had a bad time with this deck. When he charged the red-green Wishimahuzit, the Gogeta, I was thinking that he's probably playing veggies, like that's really what it is, which he did. That's just probable. So I wasn't sure where to take it, but I'm probably gonna go ahead and play out the Dimension or the new Goku, which I didn't do either. I comboed out one of the cards, so that way I can play both of these guys, and then draw 2, that is, and then put back the Massang because I know I'm gonna use that for later. So I opened Toki. He did not want to take any of that damage, which he's already at 4. So he already had 2 balls in life, which he's going to go ahead and remove 1 more, which I feel bad for this man. I am so sorry. If you're watching this, man, I feel so bad. But at least, you know, it's just how it is. I should have just done the other gameplay. I had 2 of them. Well, he's going to play the Kaba, which he did not resolve for Khalifa, which again, I just felt so bad. But he does go ahead and resolve another squad into a Kaba from deck, into a 4-drop Khalifa, into the 2-drop Gale, which now he's going to go ahead and swing everything he has, which I'm going to take all of them. The only one I don't really want to take is the Khalifa, which he went ahead and I think passed. Yep, he did go ahead and pass. So favorable stuff going on for me, thankfully, which I'm comboing out here. So that way I can play the Vanisher Fu right after. So I warped 5. Or actually, oh yeah, so I can awaken. I forgot I did this. Listen, I play a lot, okay? Went ahead and resolved here. I couldn't do the secret, forgot about that, so I put that other one back. I think I forgot to resolve Toki, which I'm probably gonna do soon. So we'll see what happens. I think he was either thinking or something lagged here. Oh, nothing happened. He took it. So now I go ahead and resolve the Banisher Fu for the Kaba, so that we can't somehow get it back to his deck. I was tempted to swing with the Time Regulator, but it did not. I do have the Vanisher Fu in hand. I forgot to warp this this Goku, but I'm gonna do it soon. So this was a questionable play until he killed off my Time Regulator, which was not nice. So I went ahead and took it, went down to 3, 8 cards in hand, and then 5 for his. He definitely wanted to go for game now. His hand is telling me a lot of different things here. So I combo out the first 30,000 double strike, swing it again for it. I say no to gate, because I'm just gonna wait for the last one, which I take. I draw into the ISR, and then power burst. No targets, unfortunately. So charge a Fu, and then I'm gonna go ahead and swing, draw 1, which I'm just trying to see if I can get him down to 2, which I do. I'm gonna go ahead and warp him, and then swing, which he's gonna block. Which I'm gonna go ahead and Toki anyway. Put out the Dimension Support, so that way I can swing for crit, 25,000. Went ahead and comboed out of it, which I'm happy to see, because now I get to swing, and if he sparkings, then he's just at 1, and that was game. So hopefully that wasn't too fast. I would say overall it's a pretty fun deck to play. I think it takes time to understand what direction that you want to take the deck, and as well as what you really want to do with it. But as long as you stay focused and understand exactly what kind of options you have and what's available, it's good. And I think Time Regulator is actually pretty necessary in this version of the deck, because you are overwhelming quite a lot, and you are also not trying to, I don't know what the right word is. I feel like you lose advantage, at least card advantage and hand advantage, if you don't play Time Regulator. If you didn't play this and you played a 4 of something else, I would not say it's a bad deck, but I think Time Regulator does exactly what it says, which is regulate, and I think it's kind of a handicap if you don't have it. But if anything, let me know what you think about the deck and about everything else. If I messed up in the gameplay, let me know. If it was too fast for you, definitely let me know in the comments below. But like, dislike, definitely subscribe for more. And if you're new, If you are already, please hit the bell. It helps a lot. I'll see you in the next one.